simplefatburn.com, or her phone number, again, 404-819-8445. So, Catherine, we've talked about who your perfect client is, where and how you meet with them. What makes you different from other fitness coaches that are out there?
Well, that's a great question. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the tips that are going to reverse aging. And
good.
Really, and that'll explain how I'm different. So, first of all, I do a very thorough assessment and intake of what exactly it is that client needs. Do they need to drop 10 pounds or more? Do they need to learn how to make choices to balance their blood sugar? And that's a big one. You know, lots of times they're eating things that they think are helping their case, and they're going the wrong direction. They're cutting the forest, going the wrong direction when it comes to the food. So that's a process of me really assessing where is their educational level when it comes to exercise and nutrition. And then we've got to devise a plan. Once I understand how they learn and communicate, we devise a very simple plan so that they can get from point A to point B, just like when I was a social worker. I used to, talking about the map again, I used to sit with a social work client, and if someone said, I've never been to that side of town, I was pulling out the map.
Yep.
So, we'll figure out what resources are going to help you quickly, and then I make notes, and from there, it's all about communication and putting those little steps in place. So I'm counseling and case managing someone to get immediate results. I'm teaching people how to balance their blood sugar, to burn fat, and reverse some of the inflammation and disease that comes with that.
Yes.
So really, when we look at, the biggest killers and debilitators, heart disease and cancer, the things to look at are what are you putting in your body? When it comes to exercise, people think they're exercising. Are they actually getting what we call progression? Meaning, are they working a little bit harder? Are they doing some things that are different? So people say, well, I've got this great little routine, but the question is your body responding? The bones do what the muscles tell them to do.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, that's a big deal. We forget this. So, when we're talking about strengthening, when people do not strength train, and this is the big hunk of the exercise, if they're not working their muscles, what happens? The bones they're getting out of alignment. Here comes pain. If people are eating high glycemic foods predominantly, inflammation goes bonkers, here comes pain. So pain is a big problem as people get older. As they get into their 30s and 40s, etc., the pain problems start showing up and they become chronic. We can still reverse that. So that's how we can reverse the, quote, aging process by doing exercise that is appropriate. This is not the Biggest Loser.
Yeah.
They might just be exercises for posture and alignment to start with so that people can feel better. They can reduce their pain through exercise and food choices that truly work. And then guess what? They feel better. And the other thing is consciousness. What are you thinking? What's rolling through your mind on a daily basis? And I really want to say something about the spirituality piece because I think, we forget that we are emotional beings and we are spiritual beings. Whatever a person's belief system is, that is their truth.
Right.
That really is their truth. So if we can kind of tie together the spirituality, the emotional piece, along with the biological and chemical piece, and the habits, now we've got a plan that really works on all levels. So it's very comprehensive.
Wow. I mean, I'm just sitting here listening to this, absorbing it. I'm sure our listeners are enjoying it too. So let me just recap real quickly. What Catherine has shared, among other things, is what is your higher purpose? That really does help you understand and give you your why. So that whether it's visiting with the grandkids, traveling on a trip, your brain is looking for immediate results, for encouragement, and then the I can't say it. Autonomy, yes.
You got to opt in.
Opt in, buy into it.
You got to get excited. You got to build some energy around this.
Get up and get going. And then to buy her book on Amazon, it's the Simple Fat Burn book. And then on her website, simplefatburn.com, you can get her Simple Fat Burn recipes and food log. She takes care of sending those to you and taking care of that transaction over her computer and on the phone. So you've talked about what makes a difference with your other fitness coaches. What the topics in the book that you've discussed and you've written about are nutrition, exercise, and writing a new story. Could you tell us a little bit about that before we actually get into some case studies with some of your clients?
Sure. I want to talk a little bit about writing a new story because everyone has a story. We have a story of history, family history. We have a story of accidents and injuries. We have a story of preferences. So if you want to do better, be better, feel better, you've got to write a new story. Even though this is my history,
right,
this is not my life moving forward. And here's the real kicker. The real deal is the I am statement. Now, there's a page in the book, in the Simple Fat Burn book, where you actually write out your new I am statements. I am healthy. I am fit. I am lean. I'm 160 pounds. And guess what? Your I am is going to come in. It's going to come and get you. Once you have the correct information, those I am statements will become your reality.
Oh, wow. So you change your brain's thinking by saying I statements. You take responsibility for that action with I statements.
And I think it empowers you to be open for the right answers coming in and taking those steps that really, truly work.
Wow. That sounds like a game plan that we could follow. And like you said, it's simple, it's methodical, there's no confusion, it's just very clear. So I would encourage our listeners to definitely reach out to Catherine either by phone or by email with her contact information on there and get these books. Get yourself in a position where you can at least have some basic knowledge and understanding and then take it to the next level with Catherine personally. We're going to talk now about some of the clients that you've worked with and their actual stories and their case studies.
Sure.
I had when I was doing my assessment yesterday at a rehab, I had to get there real early. The lady that I'm taking on as my new client, she had her last exercising schedule yesterday at 7 a.m.
Nice.
So it was an early morning for me to get out and visit with seniors. But that rehab room was hustling at 7 o'clock. I don't know. Some of them may have started at 6 a.m. But my client is 87 and she fell. Okay, maybe with proper walking, and she's healthy otherwise. She really is. She just fell. Maybe she tripped, whatever. That's an accident. But also in that room at that early morning hour were 3 other elderly women who looked like my sweet grandmother. They must have been 85 to 92 in age.
Wow.
And I was sitting there thinking, and it hit me, if they had perhaps worked out and started in their 40s, 50s, or even 60s. It's never too late to start, and you're going to elaborate that in a minute.
True.
But here they are at their blessed age of 85 to 95, up at 7 in the morning, like a military kid, exercising. And I'm thinking, the reason they're having these problems is because they didn't exercise. So do I want to be 90 years old, put on a treadmill and put on a sitting machine with my legs and feet going at 7 in the morning when I'm 90, all because I didn't choose to make better choices when I was 40, 50, and 60. And even at 70, it's not too late to turn it around. But it just kind of hit me. I was thinking about our show today and blah, blah, blah. So I was just... oh my goodness, no. I do not want to be sitting in an exercise room at 90 years old. Broken hips are one thing, falls are another. But even through exercising and good nutrition, your bones do what the muscles tell them.
Absolutely.
So if they've been trained or worked out, you know, they're not going to create so much falling.
For people that exercise regularly, we know if there is an accident, an injury, or an operation, the recovery is so much quicker. So much easier. So those things may still happen, but what you do absolutely equates your quality of life as you age. Right. There is no doubt about it. It's been proven again and again and again.
Yeah.
So, building that in, is it worth the investment? Tenfold, it's worth the investment. And, when you get into that process and start to talk about your higher purpose and what's really important in your value system, you realize that, gosh, you may value health, but if you're just thinking about it and talking about it, that's not going to help you if you skip 10 or 20 or 30 years.
That's right.
The rubber meets the road, you got to do it.
Yeah.
So that's where you probably need a coach, a trainer, someone to hold you accountable.
Right.
And accountability is holding your feet to the fire, and then it's making small pivots and changes that actually equate results. So I always say accountability is just a series of corrections.
That's an interesting way to look at it. So tell us about who is Chuck Grenner and how do you know him? Tell me about his case study.
Well, Chuck Grenner came to me almost 2 years ago, and he was very overweight. And he actually came through another client of mine named Dan Conroy. And Dan had lost about 60 pounds, and they were in a networking group together. So Chuck came to talk to me about losing some weight. And Chuck actually, he's in the senior care business.
Right.
He owns Carly's Angels.
Yep.
And he lost 200 pounds in 15 months.
Wow.
200 pounds. Now, he came to see me once a week. We started with nutrition counseling. Then we moved into personal training, and I wrote him out his routines to do on his own. So Chuck really went through the fastest transformation I have ever seen in 20 years of being in the fitness industry.
Wow.
And he did it with grace. And I'm not going to say ease, but at the same time, it was ease. He really got it into his subconscious that he was going to lose this weight and keep it off. So he exercises. He still continues to see me. He's lost all the weight, but he's actually, people say, oh, well, he's able to stay on track. Well, no, he's just going to his next level of fitness. And, the thing is, he gets the value of having a trainer and a coach.
Right.
And again, it's being your personal best. He works long hours. As you know, in the senior industry, he is extremely committed. But you can see his transformation on my website. I've got his photo on the back of the Simple Fat Burning Recipes and Food Log, and he's just been a joy to get to know. So I'm just thrilled with his progress, and I think he's one of those guys. You say, "Gosh, if Chuck could do it, I could do the 10."
Right. We could do it too. Yeah. Well, for those of you that are catching the tail end of our show, we still have about 15-20 minutes left. We're going to continue talking with our guest today, Miss Catherine Marshall, with her Simple Fat Burn recipes, formulas, education, training, etc. And you're listening to Vision Radio 105.1 FM, your Loganville community radio, where we are uplifting, empowering, and encouraging. So, Catherine, let me just give out your phone number a couple of more times before we end. To those of you that are just joining on, you want to reach out to Catherine. You're catching the tail end of our show today on the Sensible Seniors Radio Hour. You can reach out to Catherine on her website. You can contact her there at simplefatburn.com and on her phone at 404-819-8445. That's 404-819-8445. And I do know Chuck. I had met him in 2012, February, I believe it was, and we got licensed for our personal care homes, senior care homes, about the same time. And I remember him being around 220 to 230 maybe, but obviously over the years, as you indicated, he got larger.
He gained the weight over about a 10-year period.
Yeah. And it is stressful in this industry. We're nonstop, we're grab and go, but so are young mothers and young families today, like we talked about. So there's a way to work it in your schedule and make it a priority that's simple, like you said, not complicated.
It's really about strategy.
Yes.
When it comes down to it, it's knowledge, education, and strategy, and then commitment.
Yes.
You can't get on for 2 weeks and get off for 2 weeks and get back on and actually get there.
Right. That's true. So let's talk about another one of your great success stories.
Sure.
Tell us about June Klein.
Well, June is a person that I met through networking, and you can find her at juneklein.com. She's a professional speaker and comedian.
Really?
So I would say definitely check her out. She's a funny woman. She speaks. She has a one-woman show, and she's just been a joy to work with. And June and I actually worked remotely, so I only saw her in person twice, and June lost 53 pounds in about 7 months, and she's kept it off for over a year. But if you go to my website again, you can see her before and after photos and know that these are real people. And we met at a networking group, and she said, Catherine, I've just yo-yoed for so many years. I want it. And that was our first conversation. And I could see that she didn't know where to go to next. And we had a couple of conversations, and I was really able to counsel and coach her via phone and text messaging. So we did it. She lives over in Kennesaw. I'm in Duluth. So we didn't get together in person. We did this remotely, as I do with many of my clients. And I really had to coach and counsel her. And she was like, gosh, I'm stuck. And I would look at her food log that she sent me, and I'd say, well, how much cream are you putting in that coffee? And it was 2 cups of coffee with 4 creamers in each. And we laughed. I said, June, you had the whole day's worth of fat in the coffee. And she said, well, I didn't know. And that's the thing about this is we don't know what we're doing. When we think we're doing the correct things, that's where it takes a professional to step in. And I go back to this, whether it's business, fitness, or a game plan in any area of life, you need a coach. Yeah. You need to work with someone. Otherwise, you're spinning your wheels. You think you're doing the right things. And June had been through so many diet plans. And now she says, Catherine, if I take a few days off and I'm traveling and I have some of the foods off the plan, I just go right back on and the fat comes right back off.
Wow.
So once you understand this, you know what to do. Now, here's the other interesting thing. She taught her brother the system. I've never met Larry. He lost over 40 pounds. She's been helping her husband. I've never worked with her husband. He's down, I think, 20 or 30 pounds. He's been successful as well. And it took him a while to opt in.
I'm sure.
But reach out to June. She will be glad to tell you about what she does. She'll be glad to tell you about her success story. And I just have to really, commend these people because they're, in their 50s getting started, and they've got the answer for life. This ends the yo-yo dieting. So, and I do want to add that I do not sell products like protein shakes or bars. I can tell you which products I prefer, but that's not my deal. I am just straight up honest education.
Wow. And that's what we need. I mean, to be educated and to be able to take it onto our own control. And like you said, if we fall off the wagon, so to speak, we could reach back out to you if we're under your tutelage and your coaching system.
Well, and these are just 2 examples of the hundreds of people that I've coached and counseled.
I'm sure.
And I'll tell you, you get to a point where you realize your life depends on it. Your life, your quality of life, your health. Right. I mean, your health is priceless. And when you're struggling to get through your day because you're overweight, deconditioned, out of shape, and suffering from illnesses that really can be remedied by exercise and nutrition and water. Most people don't drink enough water.
Right.
And again, these are simple things, but the body requires water, clean food, and vitamins and minerals. And when we don't know what we're doing, we truly don't know what we're doing.
Right.
So,
and we just mess up the body and the mind to go with it. I know at my Loganville Walnut Grove house, I have a client. She's 95. She just turned 95. And she drinks, those big hospital containers. They look like quart. Liquid quart. The big cups. Yeah, thank you. The big cups. She drinks about 2 to 3 of those a day. And she has the whole 3.5 years she's been with us at Eva Nirma Senior Care Home. And most of my clients have been with me for 3 to 3.5 years because we do eat nutritious meals. We do chase them around with their life for water. That's why we've only had 1 or 2 UTIs in 4 years.
Oh, wow.
That I am very proud of, and I promote loudly because we are the grown-up in the room. When Mama has dementia and she can't remember that she's had water or not had water or had food,
big deal.
It's a big deal. So my ladies that work with me, the caregivers and I, that's our saying. We chase them around for their life with water. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
I love to hear that.
Yes. And Miss Hazel, her doctor, Dr. Joel Fine in Snellville, a fabulous primary care physician, he has commented time and time again, she could live to be 100, 103. There's nothing wrong with her except she's a bed patient and she has a little bit of dementia. And so now we take care of her like a cradle baby, but, she still drinks water and she still eats.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, she'll be fine. And speaking of 95-year-old clients, tell us who your oldest client has been.
Oh, gosh. I've got a client named Faye Gaddis, and Faye is 87 years old.
Ooh.
She drives over to see me once a week, and we
That's
work.
Great.
Well, she's an interesting client because she works with another trainer who works on traditional strength training, but Faye came to see me for balance and agility. So she lives with her granddaughter, and her granddaughter and her husband. And she's lived there for several years. And, they said, gosh, she's starting to teeter, and she's had a fall. She's had a broken hip, but she's recovered from that. Now, last year, Faye was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And she was really struggling with some pain issues. She was really kind of going downhill. Turned out she didn't have cancer. So she has really come through the pain issues. She's had a few falls. So I've seen this woman in the last year go up and down a few times.
Sure.
And she called me yesterday. She said, Catherine, I want to tell you today, this morning, all day, I have been pain-free.
I won't even ask how you get misdiagnosed with cancer. Let's go back to how that happened.
Well, she had an issue. I believe it was a bladder issue, and she had a stent put in, and the doctors were sure that this was cancer. And moving forward, she did not have cancer. So she came to me and held my hands. She said, honey, I've got terminal cancer and I'm okay. I'm ready to go. And she was we had this discussion, and it was so sweet. I mean, I'll never forget it. And a few months later, it turns out she's okay. So she's working out 2 days a week with a personal trainer. Now that personal training, I will say that's Andre over at Planet Fitness. Andre has really been the contributor to her quality of life. She's strong. She can squat. She can get up and down.
Wow.
I mean, she really, and Andre said to her, you're not picking up your feet when you're walking. So, we really, together from his end and my end, we worked on balance and agility and awareness. She would kind of take off quick and just start traveling. I said, Faye, slow down and look around. So these are some great tips for our seniors, because if you will work with someone, you will make massive progress and strengthen the bones, strengthen the muscles, reduce the pain. I recommended that she take some collagen, and my favorite company is Collagen Blue at collagenblue.com. And give a shout out to Donna, because it's just a phenomenal product. And again, I don't have any vested interest other than I say, gosh, if you take collagen, if you take vitamins, if you put good, clean, organic food in your body, the body will respond beautifully. And Faye really has had a pretty healthy diet. She's got a healthy appetite, and she has a shining attitude. So she's 87, and I see her once a week. She drives on over to see me, and she shows up like clockwork. The woman is on time. So, I think, to me, age is just a number.
Yes.
None of us know how long we're going to be here, but we sure want to have quality of life and enjoy life and have fun and spend time with the family and go and see and do some cool things.
Oh, wow.
And Faye is still doing that at 87. She really has some quality of life, but it's been because of the physical exercise and showing up consistently and putting the good things in the body and keeping a great attitude.
That's true. The three of them, just like you started the show with. So one last thing, what do you feel is the most important thing that we need to know right now about weight loss?
You must reduce the starch and sugar in your diet.
Okay.
Reduce or eliminate. And, that's a question of how far are people willing to go. But it's the starch and sugar in the diet that is causing us to be overweight. That is it in a nutshell. And that's coming from a personal trainer. I'm saying, yes, exercise. But even if you did not exercise or you did minimal exercise, maybe it's even physical therapy exercises. To lose weight and burn body fat, you must drink water. And you must reduce the starch and sugar in your diet. I'm a big fan of green vegetables. Most of us could stand to improve in that area. Organic, fresh, green vegetables. Fat burns in a nutrient-dense environment. So again, we all sort of know these bits and pieces. But putting it into play, it takes a little bit of education to get those results.
Right. And one quick question as we kind of head toward the end of our show here. When you say organic, I know they're in the grocery store, but do we need to be buying those products versus the other fresh vegetables and fruits on the shelves? Or do we need to be making a time in our schedule to go down to a, quote, farmer's market? The DeKalb Farmers Market is big here in the Atlanta area. Is there a difference in your opinion?
In my opinion, I always say, do what you can with what you've got.
Okay.
Some of us are going to make it to the farmer's market and check out those vendors and know that those are quality products. Some of us are going to purchase organic items at the grocery store. And I say slow down, look at the source of the food, but absolutely it's the best bet that we have for getting quality food and avoiding the pesticides, and chemicals that are incredibly harmful
Yes.
that are in our everyday food, and we've got to eat less of that whenever we can.
Right.
Can do better. We need to do better.
Right.
So I
We
say just pay
can.
attention, and yes, that is worth the time, effort, energy, due diligence, education,
Right.
and money to really investigate the sources of your food. It's incredibly important.
Wow. Well, as we come to the closing of our show today, we'll have a little bit more time. I'm just being told we have time for one more question. So if anybody listening out there right now, Catherine, what can we do right now to be healthier? What's a couple of things that you could share for our listeners? Obviously, besides buying your books.
Sure.
There's a wealth of information I see right there. So what can our listeners right now take what they have, where they are, and do something to be healthier?
Absolutely. They can start, if you're not exercising, they can start.
Okay.
Okay, so you could exercise at home, you could do your due diligence and watch some YouTube videos, you could hire a trainer or a coach, but I think you could start exercising right now, and if you're not exercising enough, you can schedule that. I really believe in scheduling it, just like in a red zone, or sometimes I love purple, so I'll write it in purple. So if that's your most important, make you your priority.
Yes.
So I would say exercise, and then get educated on how to start weaning the starch and sugar out of your diet. I'm going back to that again because
Right.
because Americans consume something like 57 pounds of sugar on average.
Oh, wow.
That's where the epidemic of our problems
Yes.
are coming from. Too much grain and
Right.
sugar in the diet.
Right.
So get educated, and those are the things I would start with.
Right. So, as we conclude our Sensible Seniors Radio Hour today, I just want to remind our listeners some highlights of Catherine's show today. What is your higher purpose? Grandkids, traveling? Find a reason to start exercising and eating healthier, and then buy into it. Go ahead and tell your brain with I statements. I can do this. I am exercising. I am doing things. Not I hope, not I might. I am. Those are the statements. And then you have immediate results. And then you're going to be able to have that wrapped up. So, again, thank you for joining us today. And if you want to reach out to Catherine, her number is 404-819-8445. This is Jill Crimmins with the Sensible Seniors Radio Hour each Tuesday from 9 to 10 a.m. And if you want to reach me, 678-524-4112.